good morning students. So we are going through the chapter natural resources. Today I will going to explain you about the soil. So first you should know what is soil. You know the soil supports the life forms which are present in the earth. As well the soil is present in the outermost layer or earth crust. No, so it supports the various life forms like plants. As well it also provides the minerals that is also very helpful for maintaining the different life forms. So see, outermost layer of earth crust which provides supports for the growth of the plants, as well the minerals present in the soil supply a variety of nutrients to different life forms. As well, it is an important resource that decides the diversity of life in an area. Obviously, the nature of the soil will decides the life forms that are living there, or you can say the diversity of life living in a particular area. So first we will study about the formation of soil. So it's not a small process. It will take a long time for the formation of soil. You can say it takes thousands or millions of years for the formation of soil. What will happen when a big rocks get broken down into the smaller pieces, and ultimately they will be forming the soil. Okay, so you can see the various factors are responsible for this breaking down, such as the physical processes, biological processes, as well as chemical processes. Or you can also see, students, that soil is having the different layers in it. So the different layers of soils are called as horizons. Okay, few soils are made up of the four layers. So those soils can be said as mature soil, whereas few soils are having only two layers, then that type of soil is called as immature soils. See now, for thousands and millions of years, the rocks or at near the surface of the earth are broken down by various physical factors, chemical factors, or biological factors. Or you can say the physical processes, chemical processes, or biological processes. The end product of this breaking down is fine particles of soil. Ultimately, the formation of soil will takes place when this heavy, or you can say the big rocks, get broken down into the smaller pieces by any physical, chemical, or biological means, and ultimately forms the soil. So students, now we will discuss about the factors responsible for the formation of soil. Factors responsible for soil formation. So first it is sun. We know at the daytime sun heats up the earth. So at the daytime, students, the sun heats up the big rocks too. So after that, when sun heats up these big rocks, it will get expand, and at the night time when it get cools down, it will get contract. This heating of sun is uneven. Some parts of the rock get heated and expand, whereas some is not being such heated, or uh, not being the it's the same heating. The heating is uneven of the rocks. So this uneven heating of this rock causes expansion and contraction not at the same rate. No, there is a very big rock. Some parts of the rocks is being more heated. Some parts are not being heated as much. So this uneven heating cause cracks in the big rocks, and ultimately this cracks lets that big rocks to get break down and get into the smaller pieces. Ultimately more and more cracks will get there in that small pieces of the rocks too, and ultimately the formation of soil takes place. So sun, so okay, so this sun heats up the rock unevenly, so it causes expansion and contraction. By this uneven heating, the cracks get caused into the into the big rocks, and ultimately this cracks will let the big rocks to get broken down into smaller pieces. So next factor is responsible, that is water. Water also causes cracks in the big rocks in the two ways. First is like first like when this uneven heating of sun will takes place, the water get inside that big rocks. And when the water get inside, obviously when uneven heating of sun will be there, the cracks will get created, and through that cracks this water get enter into the rocks, and there it will get and then definitely when the temperature get cooled down, it will get freeze over there, and this freezing causes the more widening of that big rocks, and ultimately it will causing the it will obviously, if the widening of cracks will appear there, then definitely it will be cause as it will be result for as a breakdown of the big rocks, and ultimately the formation of soil will takes place. The another way in which water is responsible for breaking down of this big rocks is the fast flowing water consists of different big rocks and small rocks within it. No, fast flowing water consists of different types of rocks with it. So these rocks are flowing with the water flow. They get rubbed with each other. They get no. So when they are get rubbing with each other, this also causes the cracks there. So here the water is responsible in two ways. Next is wind. Wind also causes cracks. How? It acts similarly as water do. Strong winds erode rocks down. It carries sand from one place to another. Winds also carry sand from one place to another. It also do as same as the water do. Fast flowing winds, or you can say the fast strong winds, erode the rocks down. Next, fourth is the living organism. Living organism also influence the formation of rocks. No, sorry, the formation of soil. How? So living organism, as you know, the lichens are the symbiotic association of the algae and fungi. So the lichens, as you know, students, lichens are the association, like two organisms are living together, that is fungi and algae. Both are living together and form a symbiotic association, means algae will also help fungi, and fungi will also help algae. Algae provide food for the fungi as well. Fungi provide shelter for the algae. Okay, algae will give food whereas fungi will provide shelter. Each of them are mutually benefited, both of them are helping each other, that is called as symbiotic association. So two organisms are living two organisms living with each other, but they looks as the same organisms, that only one organism is living over there. They looks as the same, but the two organisms are present, that is called as lichens. Okay, so now I am explaining about lichens. Lichens grow on the surface of these rocks. So they secrete few substances that cause the rocks to get powdered down. So this is also a biological factor. Due to this lichens that I now only explain you, the symbiotic association of fungi and algae. Okay, so lichens usually grow into the surface of the rocks. So they secrete some chemical substances or secrete some specific substances which helps in the which used to get powder down this big rocks. Obviously, ultimately, it will also cause the breaking of the rocks, or it will also helps in the formation of soil. Next factor, the mosses also grow. The mosses are also grow on the surface of the rocks. They will also cause the further breakdown of the rocks. Okay, so the lichens, mosses, and now you can also see the roots of big trees. Roots of big trees get penetrate inside the rocks, and it will also cause the cracking of the huge rocks, that is called as biological weathering. So these are the factors which influences, or you can say which helps or which leads to the formation of soil. So sun, uneven heating, water, as you know, get penetrate inside the cracks and helps in the widening of the cracks as well. The water carries the large and big rocks with it, and as well when they rub with each other, the cracking will takes place. Next, wind also cause corrode. Wind also, winds also, strong winds also corrode the rocks down. as well the living organism, as I explained you, the lichens, the mosses, also the lichens, the mosses, the roots of the big plants also cause the cracking of the big rocks, results in the formation of soil. Okay students, now we will study about the constituents of the soil. So students, next we will see the constituents of soil. The soil, obviously soil is a mixture of different types of the particles. Such soil is a mixture of small particles of rocks, bits of decayed living organism. Decayed living organism is also called as humus. Okay, so you can see the humus is a dark colored organic substance. This is a dark colored organic substance that plays a major role in deciding the soil structure. If the soil is very rich in humus, then often you can see the mountain soil, the soil which is formed near the mountain is very rich in humus. So humus consists of the bit of decayed living organism. It is dark colored substance. That is very important factor that tells about the soil structure. Okay. Next, it also causes soil to become more porous and allows water and air to get penetrate inside it. This humus. Okay, that I am explaining you about humus. Humus provides the pores to the soil. Obviously, if the soil has become porous, then air can also get inside the soil. Water can also get deep within the soil. So that provides the soil to be porous. Humus. Okay. So this is so it is the mixture of small particles of rocks, bits of decayed living organisms that called humus. Humus provide the soil to get porous, and if the soil, it is a black color, and if the soil soil is porous, then air can get inside it, water can get inside it easily. So obviously the fertility of soil will increases. And partially decomposed of plants and animal matter, that is called as detritus. That is the partially decomposed, that is also very good about or advantage. This is also an advantage over if we are talking about the quality of the soil. Then it also contains various forms of microorganisms. So soil contains also various forms of microorganisms. The main constituents of soil are mineral, soil, water, organic matter and living organism. Okay. So now you can see the mineral nutrients that are found in a particular soil depend upon the rock from which we are formed. So rocks are also responsible that will tell which minerals is present in the soil. So the type of the soil is decided by the average size of particles found in it. Quality of the soil is decided by the amount of humus, organic matter and microorganisms present in it. For example, as I told you, the different types of soil you can see in India. First, like you can see the alluvial soils. No, alluvial soil is very much fertile. How do the alluvial soil get deposited? So alluvial soil, it get formed when river deposit slit along its banks. When river deposit their slits along the banks, that is very fertile in nature. So alluvial soil. Next type of soil that is found in India is the black soil. The black soil is found by the lava rocks that I told you. That black soil is found by the lava rocks. That is also found suitable for the production of the cotton, growing cotton, sugarcane, etc. Or you can say the red soil. Red soil is not so much, you can see not so much fertile. The red soil, you can say the less fertile. Red soil is very less fertile. And if you are adding fertilizers to it, you know, the farmers add manures and fertilizers for enhancing the quality of the soil. So red soil is not so much fertile, but if you are using the fertilizers with it, you will be getting the good results. Next, laterite soil. Laterite soil forms when minerals are washed away from the soil due to very heavy rainfall. Ultimately from the soil surface, minerals gets washed away and they forms ultimately the laterite soil. Next soil is mountain soil. Mountain soil is very much rich in humus. So mountain soil found in the hilly slopes, definitely the name itself says the mountain soil will be present more in the hilly slopes of Jammu and Kashmir. You can see the Ladakh. And last is the desert soil. Desert soil, as the name is itself saying that found in the places of desert, it is very less fertile. So these are the different types of soil we discussed: the alluvial soil, and the black soil, and the red soil, and mountain soil, and the laterite soil. Okay, this is about the constituents of the soil. So students, next we will see about the soil pollution. So students, next we will see about the soil pollution. Soil pollution means when the soil pollutants get added to the soil and makes the soil infertile. See, the removal of useful components from soil. The useful components when get removed out from the soil, and addition of hazardous substance, both solid and liquid, into it is called as soil pollution. Obviously, when soil get polluted, it destroys the soil structure by killing the microorganism. The microorganisms are recycling the soil, no, the recycling the nutrients of the soil. If the microorganisms get killed up, then definitely it destroys the soil structures. Next, it also kills the earthworm. When we are composting, you see that while we are composting, so in the composting we use the earthworms to it. When you are using earthworms, then they helps in making rich humus. They fasten up, or you can say they hasten up the process of making manures. So it also kills the microorganism. One of the main cause of soil pollution is the modern farming practices that involve large amount of pesticides and fertilizers. These substances adversely affect the soil fertility. The long-term use of these fertilizers are very harmful for the soil, because instantly, obviously, they provide the nutrients to the plant, but long-term accumulation of these fertilizers can be hazardous to the soil as well as the aquatic life also. So this accumulated in the land and makes the soil infertile. Okay. So as well, if it get with the rainwater, it get flows down into the river or ponds and lake, it will also damages the aquatic life too. So the use of this modern practices or modern techniques of farming practices gives only a short time benefit. Long time benefit is not seen in this type of practices, because if the organic farming is being used, that will be very beneficial for in the farming practices, because in organic farming all the natural methods are equipped over there. So next is we will see about the soil erosion. What do you mean by soil erosion? It is the removal of fertile soil due to the strong winds and flowing water. If the strong winds and strong water is there, then definitely the removal will take place. And if the top fertile soil is removed, where the vegetation occur, definitely it will be very harmful for the soil as well as for the vegetation. Basically, it occurs in the hilly or mountain region where the soil get washed away due to this heavy rainfall, because in hilly region the downstream is there, no, so there are more chances of soil erosion. So for provide the soil for provide no so for stopping this soil erosion, or you can say to prevent this soil erosion, following steps you can take: plant more and more trees, because the roots of the trees can hold the soil, so you can prevent the soil erosion. So do not cut trees. More and more plantation should be done. Next, do not keep the fields barren. Always vegetation should be there. Next, stop overgrazing of the land, because the roots of the grasses also used to hold the soil. So overgrazing should be prohibited, or use the natural manure or natural fertilizers instead of using the artificial fertilizers. The farmers should use the natural practices for farming. So students, today we studied about the soil. So thank you for today's class. Next class, we will study about the biogeochemical cycles.